There's just no excuse for a mass slaughter of wildlife in a situation where a nonviolent solution is just so easy to come by.
Tonight, escalating outrage in New York town, where the city officials are declaring war on sweet, innocent deer in a decision that critics say was a sneak vote. The town leaders voted to wipe out most of the area's deer population, claiming they're damaging plants, carrying ticks, and they get hit by cars. So, kill them before they can get hit by cars? Look at these beautiful creatures. How could anybody think about just killing them all? Critics say this brutal slaughter will turn Cayuga Heights, New York, into a constant killing field. Straight out to one of my heroes, Ann Drian. Ann, thanks for joining us. You live in Cayuga Heights, where this is all happening. You are a pillar of the community there, and the wife and partner of the late, great astronomer Carl Sagan. And you are also an outspoken opponent of this plan. So I have to ask you, what upsets you so much about this plan for mass deer slaughter in your town?
Thanks, Jane. Well, I live in Cayuga Heights because I love living in a place where there are still animals, wildlife living freely, that we haven't sterilized Cayuga Heights into some kind of lifeless suburb. And so I've been working with James Levesque and others for the last 2.5 years to find a kind of solution to this problem. Now, there are strong feelings on both sides. I love the deer. It thrills me to see them. But the people on the other side hate them, and really many of them have referred to them as rats that have to be exterminated. It's a kind of, I think, displacement of scapegoating of the deer. If we could only get rid of the deer, we'd get rid of the Lyme disease, we'd have biodiversity. But of course, the only way to settle a problem like this is to really go to the scientific evidence. So we consulted leading experts on Lyme disease and biodiversity, and this plan, this crazy plan, not just to kill the deer, but to kill them in the most stressful, brutal way possible. I'm surprised they're not advocating using flamethrowers to just set them on fire. So we consulted the experts, and they said this is an exercise in futility. You can shoot the deer, but deer are opportunistic. They will move in from the surrounding areas.
What you're saying is they're going to come back. If you shoot the deer, they're going to come back. They're going to replace that population that was shot, and then they're going to have to shoot them again. No, you know, Ann, you pled with the mayor in front of the Board of Trustees, which is like the city council. Let's watch your interaction or confrontation.
The people you are paying have already pronounced this whole thing an exercise in futility. And yet you will not change your mind. You're like the nuclear power plant operators who are telling us, oh, there's nothing going on in Japan.
Now, I understand that this plan is to lure the deer with a bunch of food like corn, and then when they get to eat the corn, nets drop down, and they can either be shot with a bolt through the head. This is called bolt and net, and apparently the New Jersey SPCA opposes netting and bolting and saying it's cruel and not acceptable. The other alternative is sharpshooters. So I'm thinking these are very dramatic things to be going on in a small town, and we reached out for the mayor. On the other side, I want to hear about your alternatives, Ann. And if you had to speak to your neighbors and fellow community members, what would you tell them right now? What would you say?
I'd say that all life is related. That's the great revelation of the modern scientific revolution, is that there's a continuum of life. The deer nurture their young. They have feelings. Telling yourself that they have no feelings and it's okay to destroy them in the cruelest, most brutal way is denial. That we can, if you want a garden, build a fence around the garden to protect your garden. I believe in your right to have a garden, but I also believe in Earth Day, in the idea that we have to begin living on this planet as if we're part of the fabric of life, not here just to dominate it, destroy it, and kill everything that gets in our way.
I'm sure your late husband would be horrified by this plan. I wish you the best of luck in stopping it and helping the deer live.